I have a few questions, and really I just want to start with asking about who you are, what was your childhood like, and what was society like during that time?
Well, this has been done a whole lot of times. I'm surprised you haven't found such an interview. I was born in Philadelphia in 1924, and I grew up there and lived there till I was 28, and I got married. I married a graduate student at Penn. We were both English majors, and we'd gotten our masters also at Penn. And we moved to Vermont, where he had a teaching job while he was working on his PhD, writing it. And so we lived in Vermont for 3 years. And then when he got his degree, he was hired by Duke University English department. And we came to Durham. And I've been here ever since. First, we lived on Chapel Hill Road for 10 years. And then we moved to the country. We had spent a sabbatical in Norway, and we loved how they lived in their country and understood they took to the hills every weekend and walked a great deal. And they had such beautiful scenery, beautiful country, that we decided we wanted to live in the country. And so we were lucky enough to get an old farm on the Eno River in Orange County. And we lived there 40 years. And then when he died, I moved to the forest, and I've been here ever since, 21 years.
All right, my next question was, what were the neighborhoods like for you when you were growing up?
Well, I was a privileged child, and I lived in what is called the Rittenhouse Square neighborhood in Philadelphia, and went to private schools, and graduated from Agnes Irwin School, which had then just moved to the country. So I had to have transportation to the country every day. It was not a boarding school, but what they then called a country day school. And my father was a pediatrician. And in those days, you probably don't know this, but in big cities like Philadelphia, Boston, New York, where there were row houses, on Pine Street, where we lived, almost every house was occupied by a doctor's family. And the doctors used the front rooms on the street level as their offices. And the family lived the rest of the house. It's like living over the shop.
I would like your opinion on how it was for you, or what you've seen when it comes to housing for people of different races to get in.
You're asking about urban renewal?
Yeah.
Urban renewal was really urban removal. And it, as you know, the highway went right through the main street of Hayti.
Mm-hmm.
And the way Durham was then arranged, there was a very clear difference among those people who lived on one side of the track and those that were on the other. And this applied merely to downtown. And when we came to Durham, we came from the north, we came from Vermont, and so it was a different culture to us. And we had to learn the culture too. The urban renewal was a very unfortunate period in Durham's history. All the shops had been ruined downtown because of the malls that had been built in the suburbs where people lived. There was no housing downtown. There were just commercial buildings. And there was the Washington Duke Hotel where the Bull now reigns. And the planners thought that if they could run a highway through the city, it would not only solve traffic problems, but it would encourage more people to come to Durham.
Mm-hmm.
And their intentions were good, but their judgment was awful. And as you know, they ran the highway right down beside the railroad tracks on the south side. And that happened to be a very lively area of Hayti, very commercial. Every shop was 2 blocks long, with shops, very many shops, and a movie theater, and lots of activity going on there. And the college and that area was not so much affected by urban renewal. It did go back far enough to destroy the buildings around St. Joseph's Church, if you know where that is, so that it sort of sits up there by itself today. But before urban renewal, there were houses all around. And it destroyed the activity and the sense of belonging and the sense of a culture that was there very decidedly. Though the Wall Street, the Black Wall Street, was in Parish Street on the other side of the tracks, along with a new mutual insurance company, which is now a police department, and then I think it may be empty now, I'm not sure who rents it. Beautiful building. And but all the less well-funded commerce took place in Hayti, and that was all wiped out. It was miserable. And then there were new traffic arrangements downtown that were also very difficult, made things worse rather than better. But when we first came to Durham in 1955, Belk Leggett and where the corner of Main and Corporation had not only the hotel, but it had the CCB building, which was the bank building on the floor, and the offices above. Very long, tall building. And then there were a few other buildings like Cress's and Woolworth and a men's store on the other side, so that for a couple of blocks on Main Street was all the commerce of the city. That the men's store, the bank, Belk Leggett, all those things moved to the suburbs and left those buildings empty. And it was a very difficult time also for everybody, not just urban renewal problems. I'm not sure what got us out of that recession, but I guess the civil rights movement that came along in the 60s and 70s was another kind of appeal with all these suppressed feelings up to then burst open and had leaders who were not afraid to make their voices heard and took to the streets and politically they were difficult to manage, and Krberic was a very good mayor at that time who managed the protests as responsibly as he could and with understanding. And
how do you think race or class played a role in what neighborhoods were targeted for urban renewal?
Oh, for urban renewal?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think it very much race played a part because it was a pattern all over the country. Was happening at the same time. Other cities were having exactly the same experience. And it was no novelty when they started to, they wanted to build another highway. When was that? And the Cress neighborhood in West Durham was earmarked to be destroyed. And some kind of development put in there. And people became very much aware that here was another black neighborhood aimed to be destroyed for somebody else's gain. And there was a good bit of protest, white as well as black, about that Crest neighborhood. And I think that was a battle that we won. Pattern of urban renewal attacking black neighborhoods was very well recognized and shown for what it was. I think somebody asked me the other day, what is different now? What would you want back? And I said, civility. And that is, I think, what I miss most in dealing. I found, however, talking about culture shock, when we moved to the South, people were nicer, much kinder, much more trusting of each other, and polite and gracious. I really like Southerners, even though I'm a damn Yankee. And the civility that I knew growing up, and we called it manners then. Life was easier when everybody treated everybody, not, I will say, with respect, but civilly. And I find that living here, that everybody is extremely nice and nice to each other. And I like that.
Thank you. I don't want to keep you any longer.